the after show for, this is the Show Me a Little, just a little bit.
Yep. R.E.S.P.E.C.T. I totally messed that one up.
Do you know how to spell respect?
Yes, R.E.S.P.E.C.T.
Find out what it means to me.
I was excited. I couldn't quite do it the right way.
Jeez. Mikey, what do you think about it?
You know, I actually thought that was a really good show. I liked it.
Yeah.
So I guess we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't cover the teaching kids respect.
Yeah. It's a lot different from when we were growing up.
Well, I think what it is, I think there's a disconnect. So, when you're younger, you respect your elders.
Mm-hmm.
If grandma said something, it didn't matter what she said.
You did it.
You did it. And
or if she gave you something, you always say please and thank you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you showed respect for your elders or people there, and I get that. And then what I'm thinking is that kids nowadays aren't actually being taught to be respectful anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Like, when I drop Mikey off in the morning, I'm just like, wonder what, I just see some of the kids and the way they act or, yelling at their parents as they get out of the car. Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. People argue and stuff, but it's a video. I remember seeing the video now that you said that. It's where this, I guess, the video starts talking off with, it's a grandma and the kid's over, and the video cuts into, what did you say to me? And the kid's yelling at grandma, and then the camera goes dark. And then you can see the camera slowly come on, like it's simulating someone open their eyes. Yeah.
And the grandma says, "Wow, you kind of let your mouth overload your ass there a little bit. We don't do that kind of stuff in this house. You do stuff in this house, you get knocked out, and you get a nice little time to think about what you did." And I laughed because I was like, I remember some of those moments.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't do certain things. Now, doesn't mean it was right.
No.
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that we've done in the past that are not right.
It still feels weird for me to cuss in front of my dad. I'm like,
Well, yeah. It depends on, and now here's the problem with the whole respect your elders and that kind of stuff. So when you're raising kids, you're going to raise them the best you can.
Yeah.
So, and you hope you're doing the right thing. There's no manual for parenthood.
Right.
So I'm going to raise...
Sorry, Mikey.
Yeah. So when Mikey is disrespectful, he's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now, two things are going to happen. Either he's going to learn that respect and learn that kind of stuff, or what's going to happen is he's going to rebel, and then he'll go the other way.
Yeah.
So, and then he's going to curse like a sailor or do whatever he's going to do.
That would be your other child.
She does have a mouth, does she?
She does.
So
we still love her, though.
Well, and that's just, when you raise a child, like I said, there's no instruction manual. I hate to say it, but job took me away from family quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then there's other things going on with my ex that, was not the best.
Mm-hmm.
So Mikey is getting a different upbringing than Tiffany.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter and that's where it would be people, I guess that's where it gets kind of convoluted. People are like saying, well, if you grew up in a mansion, you're going to be rich.
Yeah.
There are many, many people that lived in some of the worst neighborhoods that decided, you know what, I don't want to live like this. They worked their asses off to get up to where they're at. Now, you want us to talk about respect. Those are the people I respect.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to be a football player or a basketball player and you're going to help your community, I have the utmost respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just going to preach from your high horse
yeah,
and not do anything about it, or not help the community, or not do anything, you're part of the problem.
yeah.
And I don't respect you for that.
And there are a lot of those athletes that give back, and there's some that, don't and make mistakes. And, I think, and it's, the kind of go back on the entitlement thing.
Yep.
You have people from poorer communities that, they're like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. I was like, well, you could.
Well, yeah.
With a little hard work, you could get out of that community. You could get out of that situation, and some just don't try.
Well, see, and so here's the thing, and here's what people don't understand. So you could take someone and you could have two kids. One growing up poor, lives in a shack of a house, if you could even call it a house.
Yeah.
No amenities, no nothing. And a person that lives in a mansion that gets pampered every day.
Uh-huh.
I've seen that pampered jerk not make anything out of his life and squander daddy's money. And, eventually they're like, yeah, we're done with you. And, they don't know how to make it in life. I hate to say it, but just because you're born, with rich parents or wealthy parents, doesn't mean that you're going to be the same as them.
And I can't remember which celebrity it was. There was a news article about it where basically the kids weren't going to get any of his money.
Well,
they're like
Warren Buffett.
No, it was somebody else.
I think it was Warren Buffett that did that one time. He's like, I guess he was going to donate all his money to charity when he dies,
yeah.
And his kids get nothing. Well, now his kids are quite successful on their own.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. No, it was somebody else. It was somebody who it was either an athlete or an actor.
Yeah,
and they were like, I'm not giving my kids any of my inheritance. They're going to have to work for it for themselves. They're.
Well, why can't they have both?
Yeah. I mean, I would think that, they should get, or not necessarily should get, but, I mean, if they work hard and they,
well,
what harm is it going to give some to charity, give some to your kids, I mean,
well, but that, I mean, if the purpose, so when we're working here, right, we're working to give ourselves the best life, right?
Right.
Now, if you look at your dad's attitude, your dad's attitude with it is, everything that I have when I go is to set my kids up for success, right?
Right.
As a parent, you always want to set your kid up for success. So if you have money, why would you not use that to help them succeed?
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but
now, if they don't do anything about it, or they squander it, well, that's on them.
Yeah.
If you have two kids and one kid is not not pulling his weight and the other one is, and you say, well, she's getting the lump share and you don't, well, then that's a parent's decision.
Right.
That's family wealth, should by all means stay with the family.
Yeah.
That doesn't disqualify people that don't have anything, and just because they don't have anything, saying that they can't make something for themselves.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but that's how a lot of people got rich in the first place. You hear rags to riches stories.
Oh yeah, you hear them all the time.
So there's people that, like, you know what, I didn't do this, and now I don't want my kid to do to suffer like this.
Yeah.
And then of course there's always comes a point in your life, is when you say, this little shit. Yes, I'm looking at you, Mikey. And the kids piss you off enough where you're like, this little shit, I might take that extra money and see if I could, can I line my coffin with money, or what's going on here? There's a point in your life that you think that,
yeah.
And you hope your kids grow out of it or start to do better.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't, I mean, you could come from money, you could come from, the
From
poorest
wealth,
of
yeah.
poor, broke, and it's your attitude that's going to make you successful or not.
It is, yeah. I mean, that's a big part of it is your attitude.
And that's that successful, if you have that successful attitude, you have that can-do attitude, you're going to go a lot further.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you have money or not, you're going to go a lot further.
Exactly.
So I guess I just don't understand that. I mean, now that's where the entitlement comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those rich kids, have that entitled attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the poor people think, well, they have the entitlement attitude. They expect, well, society, I deserve this because the man has held me down so long.
Yeah.
It's that stop blaming your problems on someone else first and foremost.
Right.
If you want to do something, go do something. There is nothing stopping anybody in today's society from doing whatever. You could be Instagram famous. Come on.
Yeah.
What was that story? You were looking the story up of.
Yeah, so it was some lady on a plane. There was some interaction between her and some other passenger, and somebody started filming it, and she's like, I'm Instagram famous, and, they show her, like, she's wearing this, like, one-piece bodysuit, and then, I guess, like, she was offered, like, some porn...
A porn contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was like, she's always stripping on Instagram, so I guess they, like, offered this after this video of her being kicked off the plane.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
That is, to me, well, I mean, if you have it and you're going to do that, there's, that's your business.
Yeah.
Again, it goes into, minding your own business.
Yeah.
But when you make yourself a entity like that, you throw a fit on a plane like that.
Yeah.
What's Instagram famous?
I guess she had been, like, involved in some, like, movies, and then she was involved with one of Britney Spears' boyfriends or something like that.
Oh.
So it was like, she's all like, I'm famous, and everybody's like...
It's that entitlement attitude. You just want to slap them when they do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to Instagram your face into the wall.
Yep.
I don't know. Just that, it's that... and I don't care if someone has money. When you start to flaunt it, though, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
If you want to go onto Facebook or Instagram or anything and saying, I'm filthy rich, I got a safe with $1 million in my basement. Well, congratulations. You may get robbed now.
Right.
And you know what? I hate to say it, but you kind of deserve it.
Yeah.
What in what is it, Iron Man? Tony Stark did it. Oh, terrorists, you want to come get me? I live at this address. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Well, they came. And they
did.
blew up his whole building, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's in the bottom of the ocean. I mean, you got to understand that, and of course, a movie plot like that. But you got to think that when I've seen those videos of like, what are you going to do? Hit me? Go ahead and hit me. Go ahead and hit me. And then the guy hits them. And they're like, why'd you hit me? Well, you told me to.
Yeah.
What do you expect? You asked for it.
You did.
There's no respect.
Yeah.
It's borderline disrespectful. You like purposely want to disrespect them.
Yeah. We see that a lot of places. So
And you don't like someone. There was a comic. There was a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
She was going over some touchy subjects.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what side of the political spectrum she was leaning to, but
mm-hmm.
she was leaning one way. The audience was leaning the other way, obviously, and she kind of so she started getting a little heckled.
Yeah.
Again, know your audience,
right?
and that goes on both ways. If you look at if you see that comedian go, we don't agree politically at all, maybe don't go see her show.
Yeah, probably not the best idea.
But if you oppose her ideas and you go to her show well, you're the dumbass.
Yeah.
Now, don't expect, she's not going to change her material for you. She should. If you want to be a good comedian and be successful, you should be able to swing
both ways. Yeah. But I mean, when you go to shows like that, that's one of the things that you've kind of got to expect them to be,
edgy.
Edgy. You're gonna have, probably opinions that you don't agree with them, but
oh yeah,
you paid to go to the show. You didn't have to go see her, or
right. Well, someone threw out like a beer at her.
Oh my god!
They threw a beer at her and it hit the wall. Now her answer was that she picked up the beer, took a swig, and then put it down and continued her show.
There you go.
I have to applaud her for that.
Yep.
It's like if you don't agree with someone's opinion, you can't just say, "Yeah, I disagree, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut."
Yeah.
No, you have to like vocally say, "I oppose your ideas."
Yeah.
What? I don't know. Here's my thing with. Did you see those guys that like super glued themselves to the road? So there's these guys that they were like protesting something, and so they like put their hand in the road and they super glued themselves to the road so they couldn't be removed. So the fire department's out there and they have to like scrape them off the road because they did it on I think a hot day, so that concrete starts getting really, really hot after a while.
Yeah.
And so now the fire department's out there, they've blocked off the road, they have to basically scrape them off, and then that glue is toxic, so they're, as soon as they're off there, or they break the road up enough, one of them that was so glued that they actually had to use a chisel to like break up the road and like take his hand with the part of the road to the hospital to start dissolving the glue. The other one, they're like trying to scrape it off, and I'm like, here's my thing. That's kind of you're being a jackass first and foremost.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Your opinion is not any better. My opinion isn't any better than anybody else's.
Yeah.
My opinion is my opinion. If you don't like what my opinion is, you don't have to listen to it.
Right.
Or if you want to listen to it and be a hater, by all means, enjoy.
Yep.
There's been a couple comics that I disagree with some of their material.
Yeah.
I'm also a little different. I disagree with it, but they were 100% right.
Yeah.
They were correct, and I have to give it them. And I laughed because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, we do that. Yeah. Oh, you got us. And then he'd go to other material, and I'm like, yeah. So I thought he was funny.
Yeah.
I thought some of them were funny. On a political standpoint, I may not have agreed with them. On a social, you don't have to agree with everybody to find a common ground.
Right.
If I'm going to talk with, my sister and she's a dental hygienist, how's the teeth business going? You can make small talk about what they like and something that will be a neutral topic that you guys could discuss that will not cause a problem.
Right.
If I go talk to, what's his name, Matt? He lives he's a friend of your friends.
Okay.
Matt, he has the Rugrats that run around.
Okay, yeah.
If I go talk to him, last thing I want to do is put down Texas.
Yeah.
Because he's a big Texas fan.
Yeah.
So I'm, now if I want to rattle his cage a little bit, I might go over there and say, I heard Texas took a beating the other day. But if you know someone,
yeah, you
have to judge the room.
Right. You have to know your audience.
If I go, if I talk to, someone and, I'm like, I'll go talk to Kenneth and I'm like, LSU just picked the ugliest colors, didn't they? So if I say that to him, he's gonna smack talk back to me, and
exactly.
I know the audience.
Yeah.
If I walk up to a random stranger and say that, well, you're gonna get a different reaction.
Right.
So you got to read the room. You have to understand. So sometimes what could be disrespectful or not disrespectful can change depending on who you're talking to.
Exactly.
So I guess you got to look at it that way too.
Yeah.
So I just don't think they're being taught respect anymore.
No.
I mean, and it goes a lot further than just please and thank you, doesn't it?
I think it does too, yeah. I mean, you've got to, just the back talking and stuff like that. It's just one of those things that, we never did because we got in trouble for that stuff if we did. Like, if we back talked a teacher or something, detention.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of those videos of, like, the teachers getting smack talked by the kids and everything and have no control of the classroom. Yeah. That's not really on the teacher. That should be on the parents.
That's on the parents, yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's also, I've seen if you're a teacher, and again, we're getting into like some sensitive subjects where I don't care what what their opinion is. I don't care where they are politically. I don't care, their sexual orientation. I don't care the color of their skin.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of that. That when you're a teacher, your job is to teach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Teaching is not, not bound by any of those. Mm-hmm. When you start to go into that classroom and you start to, start pushing off your agenda to kids, that's where I have a problem.
Yeah.
And that goes on both sides. So
it does, yeah.
kids go to school to learn. And they go to learn math, English. They learn the basics.
Right.
I understand there's a little bit about sex ed. I understand that. They got to talk about the birds and the bees, and the bees and the bees, and the birds and the birds, and the birds that want to be bees, and the bees that want to be birds but are really secretly bears. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All that stuff needs to leave people alone. Mm-hmm. Mind your business. If your teacher's gay, that's their business. Yeah. That's nobody's business but theirs.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Like there
really isn't.
Yeah.
I get it. It'll come up, but that also doesn't mean that you have to preach that or flaunt it. Yeah. Same thing with, if that teacher says, I only teach because I'm rich and I'm bored. Don't flaunt that.
Yeah.
Shut up and teach the kids. I guess that's where it needs to go is everybody's trying to push an agenda now.
They are. Yeah.
And everybody needs to step back and mind their own business.
And if you don't agree with them, they want to throw a fit or, it's like agree to disagree already,
Right. Well, there's no debate anymore.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. Yeah, you can agree to disagree. If you say something and they're like, well, I don't like what you say, so I want to quiet you or censor you, or I don't like what you say, so I'm going to throw a fit.
Yeah.
That's not the correct way to handle things. As a society, that's not a correct way to handle things.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't like a speaker, don't go listen. If you don't like something, you could voice it. It's quite okay to do that. Mm-hmm. You could say something. I really hate the whole Karen too when they're like, oh, Karens are always going to ask for a manager. So now it's almost a stigmata that if you ask for a manager, oh, we got a Karen here. No, there are some legitimate reasons you need to speak with a manager.
Yeah.
A good example is we were just in Home Depot.
Yeah.
Now the person that was in the paint area.
Yeah, the paint department.
I've approached her a couple times. Both times I was very, very polite. The first one I had a question. I'm like, different paint, spreads differently. What kind of, how much paint will I need to do if I'm trying to do like 4 12 by 12 walls? Or I think it was doors. I said, how much paint do I need to do for a couple doors? And she says, a gallon each. I'm like, now, I know that's not correct.
I know that's not correct.
Now, I was thinking, do I need like 2 quarts for, 2 doors as a quart a door? I didn't really know. And I'm like, can 1 quart paint 4 doors? I'm trying to get an idea here, right? Yeah. Because if it's a quart per door and I'm going to do 4 doors, might as well just get a gallon.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do the math in my head, and she just kind of had this like attitude with it right off the bat. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't think she really needed to be.
Now you're making excuses for the person.
No, I'm saying that she probably shouldn't be in that department because she doesn't really know what she's talking about.
Well, but she also she doesn't know what she would want to do, but she also has an attitude.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the unknowledge, because we walked away and I'm like, I'll look it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
And we looked it up.
We did. Yeah.
And we're like, okay, yeah, she was completely off. And
I think she got the quarts mixed up with the gallons or something like that.
And I'm okay with that, but it was the attitude that really, it was that, you're a customer facing employee. When someone asks, you greet them. There's certain things you do and say, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
There was no pleasantries there. Like, I said, hi, excuse me, what do you want? I'm like, well, I'm trying to see how much paint I need. How much paint do I need? I've got a couple doors. How much paint do I need? And she just was like, a gallon each. And just had the attitude with it. So we left, we came back, and then we finally decided on the color.
Right.
So we go back and we're getting paint. So now we're getting it. We're standing up there and we're like, I said, I'm going to need some paint, and I need door and trim. I need this color. And we were paint matching too.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I could go get it. And she's like, I'll go get it. I just had that attitude like, no, I'll go get it. And I'm like, well, she doesn't know. I didn't tell her I wanted satin or semi-gloss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so she doesn't know she didn't even ask me what paint I want. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go back there and I'm going to see. So I go back there and she's trying to stand on a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
And she's reaching up like tall. She's not very tall.
Yeah, she was.
So she's
short.
trying to yank a box off with a couple cans of paint there. And she caught one of them and the other one fell.
Yeah.
Splashed over my pants, splashed over my shoes. And I'm like looking down and I'm like, she's like, she grabs the paint and she walks around. She didn't even say a word. Not, hey, sorry, no, are you okay? Did it get you? There was no conversation. She just walked up front. And that's when, and you're standing up there and I come back up and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I'm like standing there and she completely pretended like it didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Now to me, that is disrespectful. That's not showing anybody respect. That's so far from showing any little bit of anything.
Oh yeah.
And so she does the paint. She mixes it for us. And I didn't say. I was kind of standing there waiting for something to happen. And then when she got the paint and she didn't say anything, I mean, what did I finally say? I said, "Is there a manager I could talk to?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why?"
Because you.
And she had an attitude when she said it,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just me, right?
No.
And I think I said, well, you spilled paint on me. And do you remember what she said?
She was like, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm like, well, yeah, but you still did it.
Right. I said, well, yeah, and that's what I said. I said, well, you still spilled paint on me. You've now ruined my pair of pants and my shoes.
Yeah. Because
now it's covered in paint. I can't, and those were actually kind of some of my nice pants.
Yeah.
I mean, and those aren't cheap pants that I was wearing there.
Yeah, no.
I was not planning on getting paint on them. So she, luckily the manager came over. I explained what happened. I didn't hear a single "I'm sorry" or anything.
Yeah, I think that's not the job for her. She needs to find a different profession.
Yeah, maybe collections. Maybe she needs to be in like a collections department where she calls and is nasty to people.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean,
because I remember, I worked at Hy-Vee for a little bit, I did that stint for a little bit, and they were really big on, the helpful smile.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember, it being like helpful, courteous, be nice to, ask them if they need help. So, I mean, it was just like.
Well, there's a difference of being courteous. And that's what I'm saying is you can be courteous to someone. Mm-hmm. You just don't want to be disrespectful to them. Yeah. That's, I guess, where the problem comes in. And I just don't, I think everybody is so full like hate in their own agenda that they could give a shit about anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm going to get mine and screw everybody else.
Exactly.
Hate to say it, but that's still the wrong attitude.
It is. Yeah.
Now, I will tell you where you don't get that attitude.
Where?
Wineries.
Oh, yeah, no way. You get in there and everybody's like, they're like, hey, how's it going?
It's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a big different world.
So now we went to a winery here in Omaha.
We did.
We're not going to mention the name. If you want to, that's coming up next. So Wine Talk 2 is 2.0. What are we calling that show?
I just have it as Wine Talk number 2 for now.
All right. So,
we can change it if we want.
Yeah, well, we try to get creative with our names sometimes.
Yeah.
But now we went to a winery here.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to the person. Very friendly, very helpful. Yeah. It was amazing to see like the people. Now we went out and ate lunch at one of the local bars, bar, pub, grill, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we saw that guy, and then we saw him at the other place. Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, his name's this here, so his wife doesn't find out he was there. There's a lot of regulars that go there.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then we decided to go to Lincoln.
We did, yeah.
We went, we saw Abby.
We did, yep. We got her, I think that was probably one of her...
Was that our first winery? It might not. No. It's not our first winery.
No, she's been to different wineries before.
Okay.
Well,
she's had to have at one point, but I don't think she's really been like we went.
Oh yeah, no.
We got to be able to just chit chat and talk and
enjoy the nice weather.
Yeah. Now, I will say it is a fact, and it's. The more wineries I go to, the more and more I'm realizing that it's a fact. Wineries are prohibited from having a pathway that's paved all the way to the winery. It's illegal, apparently. You cannot go to a winery without hitting a dirt road.
Well, yeah.
Or a gravel road or whatever it is.
They have it paved when you get closer up.
Even the one up in Calhoun, it was paved all the way up to the winery, and then you pull in their parking lot, it's gravel.
Yeah.
You biffed it pretty good there, remember?
I did, yeah. That was
fun.
Not really.
So we went and we had a couple good, little bit of chatting with a really nice place out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. They're all, you don't find too many, what do you want to call? Most wineries that you go to are pretty nice.
I've yet to find one bad.
I haven't either, yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be one or two, I'm sure. Why, you have one?
I think there was one where... Were you with me when there were, like, all the gnats and everything?
Was that one up in...
Crescent.
Crescent. That's no longer there.
Right.
Yeah, they had a big gnat problem.
Yeah, that was... Ugh.
Well, when you walked in, they told you that.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we're having a big problem with gnats right now. Yeah. I guess, something happened. I think something got left open and it got gnats. They were still very polite.
Oh, yeah. I
mean,
nice. It was fairly nice. It was a smaller tasting room, but it was still nice.
Yep, and they were doing stuff to actively keep the gnats away.
Yeah.
So it's I hate to say it, but it's wines. Those fruity wines are going to get those gnats.
They're going to attract them. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I mean, it's like going camping and expecting not to find a mosquito.
Or
it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So
yeah.
We had a really good time.
We did.
We had a lot of good wine.
We always have good wine. We always find the good stuff.
And the good stuff we will tell our listeners to on the next episode, Wine 2.0.
We will. Yep.
All right. I think that'll be our after show then.
All righty. Bye, everybody.